If you've been paying attention to any recent video game related controversy, you may have come into contact with the phrase safe horny. If not, then I congratulate you on keeping your mind just a little more intact than the rest of us, because some of the arguments people come up with in regards to this are truly mind-numbing. I actually delved into the safe horny topic briefly in my huge drama over hot women in games video, which talked about game journalists' negative commentary on Eve, the protagonist of Stellar Blade, and her sexy design. This event waged a war on social media, causing the phrase safe horny to be brought up a lot more frequently in the recent months after Stellar Blade's release. Now, Eve may have been a recent catalyst to bring this term more into focus, but her controversies weren't what inspired the phrase. So, what exactly is safe horny, and how did it all begin? For starters, it's basically a slang term used to refer to video game characters that are seen as corporate approved, and usually not dressed in overly skimpy outfits, though there are a few exceptions to this rule, like Aphrodite from Hades 2. Usually expressing attraction to these tamer characters supposedly doesn't elicit much backlash from a wider internet audience. So the safe doesn't necessarily mean safe for work, it means morally acceptable, usually by corporations and game journalists' arbitrary definition. Personally, I think it's stupid to categorize different types of horny. We have way bigger problems. It's 2024, we're running out of fresh water, there's a huge housing crisis, the economy sucks, ozone layer's we barely got any trees, our balls are all full of microplastics. But whatever, here we go. Let's start at the beginning. The earliest known use of the phrase started back in April 3rd of 2023 by Twitter user Joe Longballs in a reply to a Polygon article praising the hotness of the latest hero, Lifeweaver, in Overwatch. The tweet reads, "They got a safe, horny hero out in Poly to talk about them. Motherfuckers must have ran over an employee in the parking lot." That last part was a dig at Blizzard's many controversies over the years, including what I like to refer to as Titty Milk Gate. That was basically an incident in which an employee had their breast milk for their newborn baby stolen from the workplace fridge. Real sick stuff. Along with a lot of sexism being uncovered in Blizzard's company, makes Joe Longball's tweet have some merit. Did Blizzard release a sexy man hero, knowing this was the safe kind of horny that would help make them look less sexist? Perhaps. There's a lot to explore with this topic, so I suggest you get comfortable, get a snack, because we're gonna be here for a while. And speaking of snacks, that leads me to today's sponsor, Factor 75, SusuBot Ad Sequence Engage. Greetings, SusuBot here. Are you a human who needs food for sustenance? Well, look no further. Factor 75 takes the hassle out of human survival by delivering delicious, fully prepared meals to your door. No cleaning, no cooking, just simply heat and eat. That's right, devour. Fill your greedy human gullet with the nourishment it needs to live another agonizing day on your dying planet. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning by doing it for you and setting you up for success. No more grocery store, prep work, or cooking fatigue, because Factor 75 does the working and thinking for you. Your human mind craves convenience, but it also desires quality. Luckily for you, Factor's meals are chef-crafted and dietitian approved, with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto, calorie smart, vegetarian, and vegan. With all the microplastics out there, you'll be pleased to know that Factor is celebrating Earth Day all month long. Look out for the Earth Month Eats badge on the menu for our lowest carbon footprint meals. Get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders using my link. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Go on, human. Join Factor 75 and become part of a higher collective. Use my code and thrive. Like onions and ogres, there are many layers to the term safe horny, and knowing these helps in the identification of what characters you can lust after online without being slapped with the big ol' pervert label. Safe Horny also covers characters with physical attributes that aren't considered popular to find attractive in mainstream media, aka the most primitive and monkey brain societal level. Things like muscular women, tall women, older women, tomboys, fat chicks, and physical disabilities, just to name a few. Now, before someone mistakes this as me co-signing with society by claiming these traits are unattractive, I would like to state the following. First of all, that is not true, because I believe in women's rights to get absolutely jacked. I lived as a tomboy for most of my childhood, and now I'm at the older woman age, according to the internet. Goodbye to my eggs. My best friend is a deaf, tall girl, and at least one of my pet frogs is fat. So, take that, whatever political party would be pissed off the most. Hate that I even have to clarify that, but in my man versus bear video, I had a few sub-80 IQs claim that I support hatred against men, even though I never said that at all. So I'm just covering my bases this time. So now that you know the gist of what archetypes fit under the Safe Horny umbrella, let me give you a popular example. Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil 4. For those unfamiliar with her, she looks like a weird choice since she's hot and shapely with mommy milkers, which is what everyone on Earth has collectively agreed is peak female beauty. But what makes her safe is that she was 40 plus years old prior to becoming undead and 9 feet tall. She is also very strong physically and acts domineering towards the protagonist, which plays into the muscle mommy / dommy mommy factor. In addition to all that, she, spoiler alert, has a terrifying monster form. Not like your generic monster girl who has some monster attributes but is by and large still seen as fuckable, like a really cool, actually monstrous form. Now, some of you may be thinking that Lady Dimitrescu being middle-aged, super tall, and having a horrific monster form doesn't really matter because ultimately she's still a very conventionally attractive woman. So what's safe about her really? It all boils down to the true crux of what makes or breaks what is labeled safe horny from bad horny in games. And that is the male gaze. Not like gay guys, more like what men like to look at. The term male gaze comes from feminist theory and refers to the act of depicting women in the visual arts and literature from a masculine and heterosexual perspective that presents and represents women as sexual objects for the pleasure of heterosexual male viewers. There are 3 factors to this in visual media. 1, the perspective of the cameraman, like panty shots and stuff. 2, the perspectives of the male characters viewing the woman. And 3, the perspective of the spectator, that's us, viewing the woman. This concept of a viewer's gaze in regards to art was first used by English critic John Berger in 1972 in his book Ways of Seeing. This work analyzes how representations of women in art show us as passive objects to be seen. The term male gaze was coined by and later expanded upon by feminist film critic Laura Mulvey. So once again, we're seeing men and women pit against each other in this battle for who has the best version of horny. This tweet is a really good example of the thought process. Weird gamers, you can't make sexy women in games anymore. I'm sorry, but did all of you losers miss how feral everyone was going over Lady D? We love sexy characters. We just don't like your unsexy version of sexy. This is a tale as old as time. What turns me on is much better and more cultured than what turns you on. I am the alpha fabber. It's like the boob lovers versus butt lovers and the feet lovers versus everyone really kind of internet wars. It's all the same. The safe horny phenomenon is basically a counter movement to your run-of-the-mill heterosexual male fantasy. It stems from people who don't fit into the sexuality that markets to the male gaze, which for the most part is a majority of sexual visual media in general, and for a long time the main demographic a lot of video games catered to. No one likes being alienated, but I think the best option is to enjoy things without having these fap Olympics with other people. But we don't live in a utopian society, so this is what we get, the wank wars. However, even though what is deemed safe horny tends to go against the male gaze, a lot of men are participating in it.
I love the kind of woman that will actually just kill me. You know, when I left the house today, I was thinking, damn, I really hope some hot chick paints my brains all over some fucking hallway. And here we are. I mean, really, just absolutely destroy me. I'm talking full-on watermelon in the thighs level carnage. And I want it to scare the shit out of me. I mean, I hope I piss myself. I hope I piss myself and you call me your little pee-pee piss boy. I want you to fuck me up. I mean, I want you to make me your bitch. Your little pee-pee piss myself bitch. I want it to get embarrassing. I mean, like, weirdly embarrassing. Unsanitary, too. We should be entirely different people by the end of the first 8 hours. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? I mean, I'm a real freak. I'm not normal. Ma'am, please, you have to crush me.
I'm sure by now you've all heard some guy online say something like, "Step on me, mommy, need a goth girlfriend to ruin my life, crush my head with your thighs, I drag my balls through a mile of broken glass just to hear you fart through a walkie-talkie." You get the picture. A lot of men participate in this like lighthearted, silly masochism because it's a way they can express their sexuality without being called predatory. A lot of male sexuality aimed at women can be perceived as, or like just outright be inappropriate or derogatory. So in order to be seen as non-threatening, these guys really overcompensate by making self-deprecating comments, you know, spit on me and all that. Kind of like how hot people make self-deprecating jokes so people won't see them as conceited. But by putting all the sexual degradation onto themselves instead of on the woman, men are able to circumvent the creep allegations. However, they aren't totally in the clear. They leave themselves open to a whole other mess. A great example of this kind of mess being the aftermath of the infamous Joe Cat video.
Sad that there's no muscly girls in here. Well, I mean, yeah, but, you know, sure, I like to joke around and talk about how, oh, I'm strong women all the time, but that's not the only girls I like. I like big girls, pretty kitty girls, really witty girls, singing ditty girls. I like the leggy girls with the nice thighs. I like a good chest, no matter what size. I like the belly folds, I like the six packs, really tall queens, and the short stacks. From the mild girls to the wild girls. You got style girls, make them round girls. Yeah, I just really like girls.
This video got Joe Cat run off the internet. He was made fun of relentlessly for allegedly making liking women seem gay, and eventually this escalated into full-blown harassment. Joe Cat released a statement about his hiatus from the internet, citing doxing and threats towards his family being the main factors in his decision to leave. However, Joe Cat has since returned to the internet, and I really hope they're having a better time.
I like big girls, pretty kitty girls.
That song is catchy. Damn you, Joe Cat. So guys aren't just getting burned by women over how they express themselves. Other men are some of their biggest ops. In recent times, liking attractive women gets men labeled as simps by other men. Real attractive women, not video game women. They're the exception. 2D is so much better than 3D, right? In fact, it's, you know, the simp comments are probably happening in my comment section right now. Check. Men are also called gay by other men for liking muscular women or femdom or anything where the woman is seen as the one in charge. This is what some groups refer to as spiritually gay. So in their mind, even if a man is with a woman, if she is dominant or muscular, he is actually having cosmic gay sex with a man's spirit or astral projecting into another man's butthole or something. I don't get the logistics. Maybe his holes turn into portals in the space-time continuum where all dicks that have existed or ever will exist will teleport into it. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna have to conduct further research on men having gay sex with women. This way of thinking is basically homies over hoes, except with no hoes, and the homies are a bunch of podcasting guys. Sounds like some gay shit to me. The safe versus unsafe horny debate doesn't just hurt men, by the way. In 2022, the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime released on Netflix, and the character Rebecca, best girl, was instantly at the center of controversy. Her fans were called pedos because she is petite with twin tails. Never mind all the obvious signs that this character was an adult, like the fact that when we first meet her, she's using her sexuality to get the upper hand on an enemy. She has an adult body and mature interests, like murder and drinking. There's also the fact that her canonical age is 20 plus years old. Never mind all that. She is short and cute, and therefore the internet says she's a child. Despite the hate, Studio Trigger stood firm on the design, and it was a victory for short women everywhere. This incident is just one example of many similar awful online discourses about what type of grown women it's okay to find attractive. So this infantilization of short and petite adult women, combined with the attacks and accusations towards anyone who finds them attractive, is absolutely bullying and body shaming, which is pretty unfortunate considering a lot of the people who enjoy Safe Horny actively talk about being against body shaming. So it's like, which one is it? Rules for thee and not for me? Everyone's a hypocrite. Suddenly, a certain body type is not deemed safe to be attracted to, and real women end up subjected to truly disgusting allegations, like that they are baiting predators for being born the wrong size. It's madness. And women who enjoy sexuality that people deem unsafe get trashed and shamed and dragged through the filth of the internet. For example, people have been diving into Book Talk, which is TikTok's literary community, and a lot of people are finding out that women like to read smut. And they're getting mad over the fantasy themes in these novels and insulting the women who read them. Now, this opinion may be unpopular, but I stand by women's rights to read whatever freaky, gross, insane fantasy stories they want, so long as it doesn't target any real people and as long as there's a distinct understanding that fantasy should sometimes not cross over into real life. Basically what everyone knows already. Anyway, there's a big problem with people not feeling comfortable in their own skin or with their own sexuality and taking that out on others in the form of shaming. We see this with the Safe Horny community. We see this in the anti-safe horny community. We see it with men, we see it with women. Everybody's being a huge piece of shit. Mental health care is not normalized enough and is too damn expensive, and all of this could be avoided if more people could afford therapy to confront their deep-rooted horny problems. Well, that's just my 2 cents. Thanks for watching.